All right, so let's dive right in. We are seeing an absolute explosion in AI-generated video. I mean, think about it. What was basically a fun little toy just a couple years ago, it's now on the brink of changing, well, pretty much everything. So how does this stuff actually work under the hood? And what does it really take to build it? Let's find out.
To really get a grip on where we are right now, it actually helps to look back. Jeffrey Katzenberg, the former CEO of DreamWorks, he makes this amazing comparison. He says this is just like the birth of computer animation. And he's right. Back then, people were so skeptical. They argued it could never, ever replace traditional hand-drawn art. But as he points out, you just can't stop technology. It's the perfect way to frame the massive shift that we are living through today. So let's be super clear about this. This technology is evolving at a breakneck speed. Seriously, it's rocketing from the fringes, from this experimental toy, right into the mainstream. It's becoming a tool that's about to completely redefine how we make and watch media. And I'm talking across pretty much every major industry.
And really, at its heart, generative video taps into something so simple about us. We're visual creatures, right? We just learn and remember things so much better when we see them, when there's motion, compared to just staring at a wall of text. So just imagine for a second, you're trying to wrap your head around some complex science topic. Instead of a dense article, what if you could get a custom 15-second video that just explains it perfectly? The potential here, especially for something like education, it's just mind-blowing.
Okay, but there's a very good reason this hasn't just appeared out of nowhere overnight. Creating video with AI, it's not just a small step up from making an image or some text. No way. It's like climbing a computational Mount Everest. The sheer scale of the problem is on a completely different level. And to give you a sense of that scale, just look at the internet we use every single day. A whopping 80% of all internet bandwidth is video. 80%. So for generative AI to even play in that league, it has to operate at this unbelievable scale. And that, of course, demands an absolutely insane amount of computing power. Okay, now this is where the numbers get really, really wild. Let's talk about the raw compute cost. Generating a short paragraph of text, let's say that costs 1 unit of power, right? While generating a single image costs about 100 times more than that. But a simple 5-second video, that costs 10,000 times the compute of that initial text prompt. It's not a step, it's an exponential leap. It's a whole different universe of complexity. And as if that wasn't hard enough, the market itself is just pure chaos. I mean, the pace of innovation is so fast that the half-life of a top 5 video model is only 30 days. 30. That means the best, most cutting-edge model out there today could be old news in a month. Just imagine you're a developer trying to build something on this tech. How do you keep up with that? It's an incredible challenge.
So, okay, with that massive challenge staring us in the face, how do you solve it? Well, this is where companies like Falk come into the picture. They are laser-focused, just obsessed with cracking this one very specific, very difficult problem. How do you make this kind of media generation fast, efficient, and scalable?
And here's the crucial insight. You can't solve the video problem the same way you solve the text problem. They're fundamentally different beasts. So large language models, LLMs, they're what we call memory-bound. The biggest bottleneck is just moving the massive model weights from memory. It's like a traffic jam on the data highway. But video models, they're compute-bound. The model might be smaller, but the job it has to do, processing thousands and thousands of video tokens at once for every single frame, it just completely maxes out the GPU's processing power. It's a totally different kind of engineering puzzle.
And this is where that intense focus becomes a kind of superpower, because they've built a custom inference engine, which is just a fancy way of saying a super optimized system for running these models. They built it specifically for this compute-bound video problem. So while the huge tech giants are maybe more focused on the text world, this specialized approach keeps them consistently 3 to 6 months ahead of the pack.
All right, so let's shift gears and talk about the models themselves, because this is fascinating. Early on, a lot of people thought we'd just get one giant omni model that would do absolutely everything. But the reality in the media space, it's turning out to be the complete opposite. It's a world that thrives on variety.
I mean, just look at the ecosystem today. A platform like FAL is running over 600 different generative media models. 600! So this really isn't about finding one model to rule them all. It's about giving creators a massive, diverse toolbox to work with.
And here's exactly why that toolbox needs to be so big. It's simple, right? You don't use a hammer for every single job. For creators, this means you might use one model to brainstorm your initial idea, a totally different one to edit the tiny details, another one to upscale it to high res, and then yet another to actually animate it. Every task needs its own specialized tool. The best model for creating a scene is almost never the best one for tweaking it later. And what this creates is this really powerful flywheel effect. See, by hosting all these models, a platform attracts developers who want to build cool stuff. And when developers show up, that attracts even more model creators who want their work to be used. For you, the user, what does this mean? It means more innovation and a creative toolbox that is just constantly getting bigger and better. It's a cycle that just feeds itself.
So, what does this all look like in the real world? How are creators actually using this whole universe of models to make something incredible? Let's pull back the curtain and look at what a real production workflow actually involves.
Well, it's actually a multi-step process, a lot like traditional animation. So first, a creator will use an image model, just to get the look and feel, the aesthetic exactly right. Then, they'll generate the keyframes, which basically form a storyboard. After that, they bring in a video model to animate the movement between those keyframes. And finally, other specialized models come in to refine everything, upscale the quality, and add all those final polishing touches. So yeah, that whole idea of just typing one sentence and getting a perfect finished movie, for now, that's pretty much a fantasy. The reality is so much more sophisticated. Get this, the top creators are using, on average, 14 different models, all chained together in these complex workflows to get to their final product. It's a real craft. So with this powerful new way of creating things, what's actually being built out there? Let's take a look at some of the incredible applications that are already popping up today, like right now, across a ton of different industries. Seriously, the use cases are just exploding. We're seeing entire AI-native studios pop up, like the folks behind the Faith Bible app, who are generating these beautiful videos for their stories. Then you have the corporate world, where companies are creating personalized training videos on the fly. And of course, you've got advertising, education, even feature films and TV shows. They're all being totally transformed. And all of this is creating this really fascinating dynamic. On one side, you've got the established Hollywood players. They have decades of filmmaking expertise and beloved characters. Think Disney, think Nintendo, and they are adapting really, really fast. But on the other side, you have totally new AI-native characters and stories just bubbling up from internet communities, like the weird and wonderful Italian railroad figures that nobody really owns. And what's cool is both of these paths are working. The speed of all this is just breathtaking. According to the experts who live and breathe this stuff, we are probably less than a year away from seeing AI-generated short films that you literally cannot tell apart from a big-budget Hollywood production. Just let that sink in for a second. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important question. As this technology just keeps getting better and better, we're speeding towards a future of infinite, perfectly personalized content. So, in a world where you can generate any video you can possibly imagine, what's the thing that becomes truly valuable? What's the scarce resource? Is it raw human creativity? Is it community? Or is it something else we haven't even thought of yet? Well, I guess we're all about to find out.